How's my rubric family today? This is Juan, November 2nd, 2019. I'm going to be the one taking through everything that took place through Smackdown Live. NXT Invasion. That was the main theme of the show. It was something different, something great, well crafted. WWE found a way to make a negative into a positive, and believe it or not, the show was absolutely outstanding. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's actually invested in what is going to be, because pretty much the Survivor Series build-up had started, and thus thank you to Triple H, Shawn Michaels. They came back once again. They put their costumes and they came to save the day, because WWE and its crew, some of the wrestlers were still stuck in Saudi Arabia because of some problems that they had with the airlines, and they were not able to come back on time after Crown Jewel. So we're going to talk about everything that took place during the show. This is Juan. Once again, I want to thank every single one of you for checking us, for supporting us, for all the comments that we have. We love every single thing. First of all, let me remind you of all the social media outlets that you can find us at. Like Facebook is Rubric. Then you can find us on YouTube as the original Rubric. That's the place that we have every single of our videos. This week we have a lot of content. We have Monday Night Raw review with Ryan. Have AEW Dynamite with John Paul Leek. We have the Crown Jewel results. Everything, we're reviewing everything that took place there. And this video, of course, with me taking care of Smackdown Live. So before we start talking about everything that took place in the show, let me just take a moment or two to send my condolences to Hugo Savinovich and his family. You guys probably think, who's Hugo Savinovich? For the people that have watched wrestling for a long time, Hugo Savinovich happened to be Carlos Cabrera's sidekick, and they were the Spanish announcers for WWE. He worked there years and years for Vince McMahon. He started out as a creative guy. He wrote a lot of the storylines. He's a great wrestling personality, great person. He has a wonderful book. It's called Atangana, Ring of Temptations. Great person. He's another one that was able to turn his situation around, because, you know, being a celebrity, being somebody popular in the wrestling world, he dealt with a lot of demons, and he was able to turn the situation around. Now he's a pastor. He praises God, but now he's dealing with a really difficult situation. His wife, Diana Mendez Savinovich, he called her La Rubia because she was blonde. She passed away on Friday, and I would like to send my condolences on behalf of also the Rubric family, on behalf of everybody that watches the show, because he's a man that has done a lot of good things for a lot of people. For example, he was one of the people that helped Shawn Michaels to turn his life around. He helped Eddie Guerrero. He has helped so many tag teams through the years, taking them to South America. He did that for the Young Bucks when the Young Bucks were not even well known in America, in New Japan. They actually had the first ladder match in Chile against the Hardy Boys. So he is a guy that I respect, I look up to a lot, and I really feel for him during this hard time. Hugo, all the support and love for you and your whole family. You're a great person. You will overcome the situation. Just believe in you, believe in God. So I want to send all the love for you. Just know that the Rubric and our family, we love you, and I want to say thank you for everything you've done for this business. Now that we took care of that, let's talk about Smackdown Live. Smackdown Live took place in Buffalo. There were, well, before we actually start talking Smackdown Live, there were actually reports that half of the roster will not be able to make the show. Why? Because they were stuck in Saudi Arabia. The charter, the flight that they were supposed to be taking them, had a delay. The superstars were already in the airplane, but it actually took 6 hours for them to realize that the plane was having a lot of problems. So for that reason, the report were that they will not be able to come to the States on time for the show. So I already read some reports that some NXT talent they were flown to Buffalo, and that actually turned out to be the very biggest part and the greatest part of the show, because WWE, once again, without wanting it, I will say that in a very unintentional way, they were able to turn something negative to something absolutely positive and great. I feel that like in many situations in life, when something really unintentional becomes great, you just gotta go through it. And Triple H, Shawn Michaels, showed once again their intelligence, their cleverness, I will say, when it comes to turning these situations around, and we had an absolutely great show. The show starts with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman going into the ring. We both know that we don't really want to see these guys a lot, so I was like, okay, they have Brock Lesnar because probably they don't have anybody else. So in my head, I'm thinking this show is gonna suck. It's gonna be even worse without half of their talent, but it turned out to be actually great. So we have actually a Survivor Series that is going to be very intriguing, because once again they said while Crown Jewel took place, they said that NXT won't be involved in the Survivor Series. So this time it will be Raw against Smackdown and against NXT. So Paul Heyman's in the ring with Brock Lesnar. They talk about what took place in Crown Jewel. We all know he defeated Cain Velasquez in like a minute, 2 minutes with a Kimura lock. And they actually gave you the whole match, which is something unheard of from WWE. And we had to see the whole match. And the ending, of course, Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman are talking about it, like enhancing the situation. Oh, the Conqueror, I conquer my demon. Now I got my rematch after 10 years, but nothing of the scar was brought up. None of that. And Brock Lesnar actually called out Rey Mysterio. Because once again, I did say this in the review for Crown Jewel, and I'm not plugging it in, but you guys can check it out on Raw Break. I was saying that I'm more intrigued and interested to see Brock Lesnar against Rey Mysterio, because the rivalry, the feud, you can see the intensity from both men. To me, Cain Velasquez is not really ready to have a match. He's injured, he's out of shape, so I feel that he needs a lot of time in the Performance Center to improve as a wrestler, to have more of a training when it comes to having a match. That way he doesn't have to rely on his MMA and on his fighter skills a lot. So he said that he's quitting Smackdown. He mentioned Vince McMahon, he mentioned Fox, he doesn't care about any of that. Paul Heyman said that Brock Lesnar is going to go and chase Rey Mysterio on Monday Night Raw. Why? Because Rey Mysterio is a part of the Raw brand and Brock Lesnar is a part of the Smackdown brand. So he quit, he left the arena, and as he's leaving the arena, we see Shawn Michaels and Triple H in the back. So that was something different, and I was like, okay, what is this? What is going on right now? I feel it was interesting. So okay, that actually made me say, okay, let's watch the whole show. Let's see what these guys are bringing to the table. So sorry guys, I had to put my hat on. So we're going to go through Bayley and Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. A match that we've seen before. So for me, it wasn't that really exciting just to like go through this one more time. Like I said before in previous videos, Nikki Cross character needs to be a little bit better for me. Needs to be more dominant. They need to go back to this crazy woman that is always unstable, that doesn't really know what's going on, that she just wants to like beat people up. Now I don't really like to see this Nikki Cross that is always like, I'm so charming, everything's great, my life is awesome, yes. So for me, I really don't enjoy that. And Bayley came out with Sasha Banks. She's still a heel. I feel that Bayley as a heel is actually working. She is portraying herself really good. The match was really, like, I want to say good. It's just something that we've seen before. The one thing I want to mention is Sasha Banks held Bayley throughout the whole match, so that's a heelish tactics that they use, so that was good. Nikki Cross actually kicked out from the elbow that Bayley does. Many times Bayley will finish people with that, so that's interesting to see. There's attention to detail right there. But the main thing happened. Like, so far the show was like, okay, I think it's going to be more of the same. Nothing that is really haven't seen before. But then out of nowhere, Shayna Baszler comes out. Shayna Baszler comes out and she takes care of Bayley, does a suplex to her, and she starts beating her up. Shayna Baszler takes his jacket off, then keeps beating her up, and then she puts the jacket back on and leaves. So that was really interesting. The crowd is absolutely loving it, eating from it. NXT chants. What a great moment. So I feel that they're going to start building that rivalry with Bayley and Shayna Baszler, and maybe they will incorporate Becky Lynch, since all three brands are going to be fighting for who's the dominant brand out of the three of them in the WWE. So I want to say at the end, Bayley retains the championship because a distraction from Sasha Banks that actually pushed Nikki Cross on the mat, and then Bayley did some kind of a flatliner. It was right on the mat. Face first, 1, 2, 3. Until that point, I was like, okay, well, we're more of the same. There was no way for Bayley to drop the championship because Bayley is a heel and she needs that championship to go along with her new character, her new gimmick, her new attitude. So I want to say for that reason, I think it was interesting how they were able to incorporate Shayna Baszler into all of this, and the crowd was loving it. So yeah, this is one of the things that WWE needs, is the surprise factor. Something that we haven't seen in a long time, something that we don't even expect that it's going to happen because WWE doesn't use that anymore. Before they did that during the Attitude Era, during I will say even the Aggression Era, they used to do some kind of like surprise factor, bringing old wrestlers, bringing people from other shows, and for this to work like it did, you needed the NXT crew. And once again, I knew that like they were being flown to Buffalo because they didn't have enough roster to pull off the Smackdown show. So to me, it's incredible to see how Vince McMahon doesn't realize how much talent he has in NXT and how different it is with the vibe that NXT provides. Triple H and Shawn Michaels probably had a talk with the guys and be like, we're not part of this yet, but we want to make a statement. This is our first impression for a lot of people because still, till this day, a lot of people don't even watch NXT. They don't know who some of the wrestlers are. But I feel that when this was over, the NXT brand has shown what they have to offer. And also they've shown that like they really are the dominant brand at this point. Because either SmackDown or Raw, they are not delivering quality product, and the fact that like the SmackDown show has been able to be great and it's been good, we can say that it was a good show. It was full with emotion, full of excitement, full of different new things. Thanks to whom? Thanks to NXT. Bayley retains the title. Shayna Baszler came after her. We'll see where this takes us from. Maybe Bayley could go back to NXT and also beat up Shayna Baszler. They could have a stare down, or maybe Shayna Baszler will defend the women's championship against Bayley, because that will be nice. That will be something that we never seen yet, either in NXT or in SmackDown. It will be a main roster title being defended on NXT. So that will be extremely interesting. So what WWE needs to do from now on, it will be to carry on with this. You didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Well, the outcome was great. So keep following along. Now that you have this, feed from it. Use the same strategy that you use with a good match. Because I remember when Andrade, Cien Almas, and Rey Mysterio had a great match. You guys kept giving it and giving it and giving it and giving it to us until we didn't want to see that match anymore. So now use the same momentum. Because for the first time in years, WWE has actually momentum. So we're going to move along. A segment that to me was a filler. And once again, you're burying this poor guy, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is just a great wrestler. Very underrated, unappreciated. Very unappreciated. If you go to work and you're not even noticed, that's an appreciation right from the bat. And that's, I think, how Sami Zayn felt. He probably goes in. Nobody says hi to him. Nobody acknowledges who he is. Because this guy is absolutely a great wrestler, but nobody really cares for him, or like the creative don't even have a good storyline for him. I don't know if he's injured, I don't know if he's being punished, but he's become a jobber ever since he came back. And to me, that's really sad for the guy and sad for us, because he's a great talent that we could actually enjoy him, because he's great on the mic, he has a great relationship with Kevin Owens. He could have a really good mid-card solo act. He could go for like the IC Championship. He could go for the United States Championship. He could be a world champion. But WWE does not have faith in him. And for that reason, they put him with Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. He was cutting a promo. He was saying that Smackdown is great, everything is going good, but then boom, all of a sudden, Keith Lee and Matt Riddle are shown in the camera, and we actually get to talk. We get to see a discussion between the three of them, and Sami Zayn feels like he needs to go, run away, because he felt that like at some point he was the heart of NXT. The thing didn't go out didn't end up going well for him, because he was he was chased throughout the arena all the way to the ring, and Matt Riddle and Keith Lee clean house with him. Matt Riddle hit his signature knee and his finisher, and then Keith Lee delivered a great, beautiful moonsault from the top rope. Poor Sami Zayn. Once again, I've said this many times already in some of the videos. Go to AEW, put a mask on, be El Generico once again, because there's no future for you in WWE. One of the things that many of you might not know is like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Aleister Black do not travel. They don't go to Saudi Arabia because when it comes to Sami Zayn, he has some Syrian roots. So he has blood from Syria. Some of his family are from there. So he has Syrian descendants. So they don't want to jeopardize having a person from that country or somebody that has roots from that country to go to Saudi Arabia. So Kevin Owens, in retaliation, he refuses to go to support his friend. Daniel Bryan actually does not agree with the way that the Saudi Arabia government operates. So that's why he refuses to go. And when it comes to Aleister Black, he has a lot of tattoos that will be compromising to what the WWE stands for, and also to the when it will be perceived by the Saudi Arabia crowd. So that's the reason why they don't go and they're not part of these shows. So going back now to the middle part of the show, The Miz is cutting a promo. It was supposed to was announced that like it will be a Miz TV segment with him and the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and he will be showing the Universal Champion, because finally he is the Universal Champion. For many of you that have asked what are my thoughts about that, I feel that like WWE rectified that situation. They needed to do it. It is too late. Yes, the Fiend, his aura, his momentum is gone, but hopefully they can do the same thing that they did with the show. Out of a negative, make a positive, so we'll see what they do. I don't want to say I have faith in WWE, but I do want to say, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a chance, because what SmackDown produced yesterday, it was great. So maybe now that Triple H is shown his abilities, his skill to Vince McMahon, is like, hey, all of your shows are absolutely terrible. Nobody's interested. There's no engagement. But hey, I bring my guys, and all of a sudden, boom, we have interest now. We actually, nobody, I want to say, was thinking about AEW when it came to that. And I'm not saying that it's a battle between the one and the other, but I'm just saying like, hey, we were able to make a statement with my own guys, so give me a chance. I know I can produce something that is going to be worth watching. I'm going to be producing something that the audience are going to be invested in, and we're going to get all that audience that we have lost, we're going to gain them back. But in order for us to do that, they need to give us a chance, and for them to give us a chance, we need to produce quality product in a week-to-week basis. So The Miz is cutting the promo. He says, unfortunately, the Fiend Bray Wyatt is not going to be there. So out of nothing, Tommaso Ciampa comes out. Tommaso Ciampa, he wants Goldie back. He wants to make a statement because his run in the main roster was cut short because of his neck injury also. For many of you that like were watching WWE before WrestleMania time, Tommaso Ciampa was actually teaming up with Johnny Gargano. They were DIY once again. Nobody called him like that, but he was featured in a few Raw and Smackdown shows. But unfortunately, because of his neck injury, he wasn't able to continue this run and had to be sidelined for 9-10 months. He comes out and he talks to The Miz. He says that in order for him to make a statement, he needs to go against somebody that is one of the main dogs I want to say main dogs, but I should the main people in the roster. And The Miz said, oh well, you want to do something? Well, let's do something. And they had a match. Back and forth. The Miz is always decent when it comes to putting matches, and Ciampa is probably, if not the greatest guy in NXT, one of the greatest guys, because it will be questionable because Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa, those three are the ones that carry the flags for NXT. Match was really good, back and forth for a little bit, and then Ciampa hit his finisher, 1, 2, 3. He's beat up the Miz, and again, we keep seeing some feuds going on for the build-up for the Survivor Series. Great moment for both of them, and Ciampa gets the upper hand. He's shown to the whole world, and now everybody knows who Tommaso Ciampa is. He's the guy that is chasing up after Adam Cole in his quest to get Goldie back. So the show carry on, and we have a promo, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels are in the back, and Daniel Bryan actually requests to Triple H to have a match with him. But Triple H says, hold on, no, not this time, but one of my guys is going to take care of you. You can fight this guy. And all of a sudden, Adam Cole, the NXT champion, he shows up, and the match is set up. Main event, Daniel Bryan against Adam Cole. What a great way to finish the show. Finally a good main event, because the main event that was actually scheduled for this show was Roman Reigns to take on Baron Corbin. I'm pretty sure that every single one of you would rather see Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole, because it's the first time that we've seen that match, and just based on that fact alone. We've seen Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin for like the 10,000 times, so who really cares about that? And why they even call it the main event? I don't think it's even necessary to use that name for that. So I was excited about that. It's like, oh, an NXT Championship match? That's what Smackdown and Raw needs. And the shows with like championship matches, you don't need necessarily a title change, but what you really need is main events that people actually look forward to. I don't think there's a person in the earth that was actually waiting for Roman Reigns against Baron Corbin. Mainly because we've seen this match so many times. So I was excited about it. Commercial break. Supposed to be scheduled for Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville against Dana Brooke and Carmella. But Bianca Belair backstage actually took care of both of them, and they were unable to perform. And in exchange of that, we got Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox teaming up for the first time, going against Fire and Desire, and it was pretty much a squash match. Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley, they absolutely cleaned the house with both of them. Submission hold by Rhea Ripley, and Mandy Rose taps out. Squash match, really quick. And the really thing that stuck out for me was a spot that Tegan Nox actually threw Sonya Deville onto the announcers table. And by the way, the announcers table in this point was Renee Young, Tom Phillips, and Pat McAfee from NXT, because at the beginning of the show, Aiden English was the one scheduled to do that as being the third person, but I don't really know what happened. Maybe because they wanted to keep it as the NXT Invasion, they put Pat McAfee, because he's the one that is always there for the pre-shows for the NXT on the takeovers and all of that. Really great showing for both Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox. These two are not a real tag team. Maybe they will start being a tag team in the main roster, because when it comes to the NXT world, Tegan Nox is actually teaming up with Dakota Kai. They lost their championship opportunity with the Kabuki Warriors, and Asuka and Kairi Sane kept those championships. But I really hope that Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox are continue being a tag team, because they're good friends. That you can really see the chemistry between them. But it's not a bad idea to have another tag team in the formation of this, just out of the spot, I will say, Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox went into to Renee Young, I think, or Tom Phillips, and she goes, this is NXT, this is how we do it in NXT, baby. So it was a really great showing for both of these women. A great spot for Tegan Nox. For the ones that don't know Tegan Nox, she was scheduled to win the Mae Young Classic on 2018, but unfortunately an injury sidelined her for the rest of the year, and up to now she's just coming back. And now we're just going to talk about the main event of this show. Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, NXT Championship on the line. What a beautiful match. Great showing for both of these men. For the ones that don't know Adam Cole is just, for me, is this generation Shawn Michaels. Absolutely great in the ring. Great promo also. The crowd is eating out of his hand with the Adam Cole, baby. That's extremely good. They all love him. He's the leader of the Undisputed Era, and to go toe-to-toe with Daniel Bryan, you knew that it was a great match from the bat. These men killed each other. It was really back and forth. Daniel Bryan hitting his signature moves. Adam Cole did the same thing. Insecurities. Daniel Bryan, I won a headbutt from the top rope. Triple H and Shawn Michaels were actually by the ring because they were supporting Adam Cole. They didn't want him to lose the NXT Championship because it would have been a disgrace, I think, for them to go and supposedly invade SmackDown and lose the main title in the show. So I want to say something about Daniel Bryan that is very, to me, interesting, and is something that this man always knows how to do business. This man looks out for business from the beginning. He knows that like when it's needed for him to lose, he puts people over. And what a great showcase from Adam Cole, because some of the people that only focuses on the main roster, they have not been able to see this guy. Now they know what Adam Cole is capable of. It was a match. At some point, Daniel Bryan might have he was about to win because he had the Lavelle log on, but Adam Cole was able to get into the ropes. The hold was stopped, and then Adam Cole hit his signature, the Fisherman Suplex, and then the last shot for the 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole retains the NXT Championship. Where do they go from now? That's, to me, the most important thing. I feel that if they want to keep that triple threat match going, is probably one of the best things that like the main roster has ever produced in 2019. I feel that is necessary to keep the momentum going, because now that you have all these eyes on you, now that you have all these people caring for what you're going to do for the next show, keep building this momentum. Bring Tony Storm, bring Pete Dunne, bring Damian Priest, all these talents from NXT to maybe messed up with the rest of the matches, and you have these things going. Have some guys from SmackDown show up on NXT, and now since NXT is live, that's going to be a reason for you to watch the show, and you're going go to toe with AEW. This is what you needed to do. So hopefully Vince McMahon sees the good feedback that you're actually having. You're going to go probably from 888,000 people that watched the show last week on FS1 to actually having even more, or at least the outtakes of this. The consequences of this great show is that more eyes are going to be watching next week. At least I will be. I know my brothers are going to be watching, and everybody that loves wrestling are going to be invested in this because it was different, it was new, and I'm pretty sure the crowd, the audience in Buffalo enjoyed this from top to bottom. It was something really different to see. It reminded me of the time when they did the WCW Invasion, or like the Raw and SmackDown Invasions through the years. That is actually enjoyable shows because you see people from different brands going at it. What is it going to happen with Brock Lesnar? That's something that along those lines, I don't really know what it will be happening. I feel that like if what WWE might put up to actually is that the champions are able to go from show to show, or they're like because they hold the championship, which I don't really like, because if he's on SmackDown, he should stay on SmackDown. The only way for the brand exclusivity should work is if you don't see the people on other shows. If Brock Lesnar is part of SmackDown, keep him on SmackDown. If Bray Wyatt is part of SmackDown but The Fiend is Raw, we don't even know how that's going to play out, keep it like that. I don't want to see people from SmackDown showing up on Raw and vice versa. I would really like to see this during this 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we have for the build-up for Survivor Series, but that's all that you need to do it. Then after that, just keep it on your own shows. Focus on your own shows. Build up the people from your own shows. You don't need to keep having people from Raw and SmackDown, people from SmackDown on Raw, because you're actually taking away the opportunity from talent that it is on that specific show to shine. And that's what you need to do. I hope that you guys enjoy this review. Comment, let me know if you guys want me to do something different. Let me know if you guys enjoy the way that I took you through the show. And I want to say hi to everybody that is supporting Road Break. And remember, we have tons of content for you. Ryan and I are going to be playing WWE 2K20 because they finally released the first patch for the game, because it had a lot of glitches, it had a lot of problems with the game. Now hopefully with this the game is going to be more playable, and We're going to be playing it through here, through our Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So guys, please watch, comment throughout. We love the interaction. We love the feedback. John Paul will not be with us because he has a Halloween party. So let the guy go. Let him enjoy his time. Let him be Macho Man one more time. Ooh, yeah. So once again, I want to thank every single one of you. Don't forget to follow us in all the social media outlets that we have. And I'm going to leave you with Triple H in his final words, because the show actually ended when Adam Cole retained the title. He wins with the last shot, 1, 2, 3, and the whole NXT crew, all the guys that were there, went there to support Adam Cole and support his brand. And then Triple H delivered these words. So guys, I hope you enjoy this. It will be again in the afternoon. Ryan, myself, playing WWE 2K20. I'll be there for you guys. Comment. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. Adaaaaa.
Survivor Series. You want to pick a fight with us? Raw, Smackdown versus NXT. Well, if we're gonna have a fight, then I'm gonna need an army. What do? When you want to build an army, you look to your blood, you look to your family, and you build an army for a fight. This is our army. This is our fight. This is our ring. And it's Survivor Series. Know what you're getting into. We have now fired the first shot. Raw, Smackdown. Let's see what you got. Just remember one thing. We are